Let's see. All right, everyone give a thumbs up if you were able to locate the globe and select your interpretation language. I'm seeing a few thumbs up. I'm seeing a few thumbs up. Okay, anybody? No. Is anyone having a challenge? Okay, Howie. Howie, check the More menu at the bottom of your screen.
I don't see a more menu. I just see start video, mute participants, chat, and share.
Are you on a phone?
No.
Okay. Are you on a Chromebook?
Yes, I am.
Have it.
Hey, I can help with that. I'm also on a Chromebook. You have to use the pwa.zoom.us link for the Zoom to work correctly on Chromebook.
Derek, if you wouldn't mind dropping that link into the chat, that would be helpful. And Howie, if you are unable to manage with the simultaneous translation this meeting, we will work it out for the next one. This is our,
Okay,
our
thank
maiden
you.
voyage.
Thank you.
Hi, Monique. It's Crystal. I'm also having an issue with it. I don't see it on my computer.
Okay, are you on a
But I'm also-
Chromebook?
No.
All right, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see mute, stop video, participants, chat, share screen. Potentially you're seeing reactions and a little kebab menu that's sideways, 3 dots. If
No,
you
I don't see that.
You don't see that. Okay.
No.
All right, we will have to.
Do you think it's because I'm on my phone as well as my computer?
It could be because you're on your phone as well as your computer, but these are good issues for us to tease out in this maiden voyage. So yeah, play around with your options. Hopefully it will pop up. And if not, we will follow up with you directly after to see what's unique
Okay.
about your settings.
Okay,
Velma,
thank you.
hand raised.
Good morning. I just wanted to chime in that Monique, I was having those problems and Monique suggested that I log out of the Zoom meeting and back in right away. And that seems to have corrected now. I'm on a PC, by the way, a laptop. I can hear everybody and I can see the interpretation bug at the bottom.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Velma. Crystal, perhaps you want to try jumping out and jumping back in. All right.
Okay,
Well,
I'll try it.
thank you. Okay, a couple of issues that we need to work out, but for the most part, I was glad to see all of those thumbs up. So we will go ahead and get going with our meeting. The first thing on our agenda is a quick icebreaker. And who knows what's going to happen when we open these breakout rooms, but we're doing it anyway. So my guess is one person will end up in a room with our translator. So if you would like to be with the translator for this breakout session, stay in the main room. Don't go to the breakout room that you will be assigned. Stay in the main room and we will do simultaneous translation in the main room. Okay, so the icebreaker today, and I'll put these in the chat, your name and your organization, why you are here at the meeting today, what brings you to today's meeting, and then why do you do this work? So I'm going to drop these in the chat and we're just going to take, 5-7 minutes for everyone to meet somebody, potentially someone you already know, potentially someone new. And Those are both in English in the chat. And let's see here. Megan, can you open the breakout rooms and assign 3 people to each room? If you want interpretation, stay in the main room. All right, rooms have been assigned. Go ahead and kick over to your rooms now.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Lindy, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm on 2 devices. I get confused. Monique asked me to speak in Spanish wherever I could, so I think staying here is the right way to go.
Okay,
Or should I
and
go to my breakout?
our interpreter's in here already. So if anybody wants to hear in Spanish, they can hear with her. In this one,
Okay.
you don't have to, Lindy, you can go to your breakout.
Well, no, it was for me to speak in Spanish and other people to hear it interpreted to English, but maybe this isn't the right part.
I think if she was, I think for me, because I'm on phone and my computer. As I was trying to log back in, she put us all in breakout rooms, and I don't think I got sent to the right one with my phone number.
Is this Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like you're just all in our breakout room. So we're just doing a little icebreaker, no big deal. It's just a one-on-one. What is your name and organization? What brings you to join the meeting today? And why do you do this work?
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, can I just do it in this one since I could see everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Crystal Aguero. I work for Pueblo County Department of Human Services. I'm an intake supervisor for food assistance and Medicaid. And when I first started with Pueblo County, I was very jaded when it came to our community. And as I've grown with Pueblo County, and now it's just, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy helping people feed themselves, feed their kids, getting medical assistance, especially during this time. So for me, it's rewarding to help our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Raelyn, do you want to go?
Hi, I'm Raelyn Martinez. I'm a family advocate with CDI Head Start. So we serve families with their childcare needs for their preschoolers. Why I do this, I don't know, I just love working with the families and the little ones and just seeing them grow and learn. And one of the favorite things I like about about what I do is getting them connected to the things that they need, especially when that comes to food access.
Thank you. Renee?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Renee Martinez, and just on Monday, I began work with Senator Michael Bennett's team. I know that members of his team were instrumental in starting this project, and so I'm here to learn about what's going on and represent the team. I can't say exactly why I do the work related to food, but just happy to be here and lend an ear and relay any messages from him as I continue to participate.
All right, thank you. Looks like we got a couple more people on. Laura, we're just doing quick introductions. Name, organization, what brings you to this meeting today, and why do you do the work you do? Lindy, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Ruth, voy a hablar en español para que todos puedan saber cómo funciona interpretación. ¿Está bien? Okay. So, hola, me llamo Lindy Webb. Soy la coordinadora de Cooking Matters aquí en Pueblo. Hacemos clases de cocina, nutrición y cómo comer saludable con cualquier presupuesto.
All right, thank you, Lindy. That worked
Everyone
for me.
heard
I don't know
that?
about everybody else. It worked for me.
Okay. Me involucré en Pueblo Food Project en el año 2020. Siempre me ha interesado todos los problemas sobre comida y cómo ayudar a las personas a disfrutar de nuestra comida local y comida saludable en general. Y para aprender cómo funciona ayudar en una coalición. Gracias.
All right, thank you, Lindy. I'm Megan. I'm the coordinator for the Pueblo Food Project. I have to run this meeting, which is what brings me here, but also I love the Pueblo Food Project, and I'm so excited that I get to work with them every day. Still have a couple people on here that haven't. I know that we're the biggest group in, so we might have to cut it short and send everybody back because we keep getting more people. Howie, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Howie. I'm not affiliated with any group or organization. I'm just someone seeking to advocate and expand community interests, support people with services that they need, feed everybody, and just bring community together. To me, it's all about community, and food is obviously a big aspect of community, of tradition, of culture. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we can all expand upon and enjoy.
All right, thank you. I'm going to bring everybody back. So hang tight.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Who would like to share something they learned about the person they were in a room with? And quick flag, you double check your translation to make sure that it is on again. I'm noticing that mine popped off in the breakout room, so just double check that. Everyone give a thumbs up if they're back in the language of their heart. Okay, great. All right, who would like to share something about someone they were just in the room with?
I can share. This is Jen from Pueblo Community Health Center. I met Aaron, who works for Springside Cheese, and he is currently in Wisconsin, and it's -12 degrees where he is right now.
Yikes. All right. Thank you, sunny Pueblo, Colorado. How about one more person who would like to share about something about the person they were with, or maybe why someone is here today?
I'll go. I was in the room with Mo and CJ. This is Tom. It was heartwarming to hear that how much passion is still there because of the work that we're doing, why we're still doing it. And it was brought up, even CJ brought up to me, so there's a lot of passion still in you doing this. I go, oh yeah. And it was the same thing for Mo. So it's good to see that we're still here with the very same kind of ideas and drive that we had when we started this thing about 80 years ago.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, we are going to move on to our next exercise, but in the meantime, Brandy's intro in the chat reminded me our group size is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm so grateful for that. Let's keep track of who we are. Just a quick name, organization in the chat from everyone, if you don't mind. That would be helpful for us to know who is here. I can't see everyone on my screen, so that's very exciting. And while that is happening, I am going to quickly share my screen. Megan, if you don't mind, enable me. All right, give a thumbs up if you see my screen. Cool. Forgive my lack of design in this month's presentation. Hopefully the content will inspire you enough that you'll forgive me for not having a bunch of graphics and fancy fonts this month. Okay, I have the word relationships on screen number 1. And the reason for that is for 2022, the Pueblo Food Project theme is really going to focus on establishing, solidifying, and deepening our relationships. This is actually my second year anniversary this very week with the Pueblo Food Project. And so much has happened from January 2020 until now. We have established programs, we have implemented systems changes, and we have gathered a group of community members who are excited about food systems change. And those community members, you all have dedicated plenty of time and resources already to this effort. So we're very proud of that, and everyone on this conversation should be very proud of the contributions you have made and how far collaboratively we've been able to take this work. And for that reason, 2022, we're really excited to deepen all of that, expand our reach, bring in new faces, and really keep the momentum going by being authentic with ourselves and each other. So we are going to focus on that, and it will be sort of an idea that we cultivate throughout the year. Any questions on that? And I can't see, I'm not looking at the chat, and I can't see everyone if your hand is raised. So if you do have a question, feel free to raise your hand or shout it out. Megan will help monitor the action behind the scenes. All right. Okay, so let's get into today's skill build. We're going to be talking a little bit about power. So everyone will need a piece of paper and a pen, or you can pull up a little notepad on your screen, whatever will allow you to do some self-reflection as we go through these questions. Okay, so the first question, and maybe we can take some group answers on this, is what is power? Somebody throw something out. When I ask what is power, what does that mean to you?
Influence.
Influence, okay. What else?
Ability to change.
Ability to share, okay. What else?
Ability to make decisions for other people.
Ability to make decisions for other people.
Resources to get things done.
Resources to get things done. How about one more?
Being a leader.
Okay, being a leader. And how is power granted? Same popcorn style.
Sometimes it has to be taken. It's not always granted.
By the sharing of ideas.
It can be appointed with a position of power.
Being born with privilege.
Any other thoughts?
It can be cultivated from a group of motivated people.
It can come from relationships and networks. Power can be found through relationships.
Okay.
For making sure structures that we work in are set up to empower everybody with equity.
Having a voice in the matter or situation.
And let's dig back to a few meetings ago when we talked about the sphere of influence or the spheres of socialization. At what levels do we experience power? I will quickly pull up a graphic to jot your.
Say having a seat at the table.
Okay. What else? What spheres of influence do we experience power?
Personal life.
Oops, say that again.
Go ahead, Velma.
Ideally in our personal lives.
Yeah, I did that.
All right, let me see. This is the graphic that I'm thinking of here, just to remind us that not only do we experience power in our own lives, but we also have these layers, this system that is, we're always sort of operating under these layers. We have our social cultural layer, our norms, we have the institutional layer, the laws under which we are meant to live. That is a power dynamic. Our interpersonal, so how we interact with each other, and then our own sort of sense of agency and power. So I remind us of this list because it will be useful in our exercise. So let me give me a thumbs up if you're back on the PowerPoint, back on the slide deck. Okay, thanks, Dolores. All right, so one way to think about power as well is that power is the ability to make a change. This is a definition that is borrowed from an activity that we did, the Colorado Health Foundation. And so we flag that just as a simple definition and a way to think about power. Many of you brought up elements of this, but perhaps for some, this is a new way to think about that word. Okay, so now we're going to dig a little deep here And everyone is going, well, the offer on the table is for you to participate in this activity. And it's a personal inventory of where you believe you have and where you believe you don't have power. And that can relate to all of those spheres that we shared on the previous image, or you can focus on one sphere, however this exercise lands for you. We're just going to give everyone about 5 minutes to sort of do this inventory. And again, you can, if writing out by hand is your vibe, grab a piece of paper and a pencil. We'll wait for you, or a pen. And if you want to use something on your device, that works too. Okay, another minute or two to sort of round out your thoughts and take a couple breaths for reset, a little bit of reset there, some fresh air. All right. We are going to break into small groups now, about 4 or 5 people. And we'll be in these rooms for about 7-8 minutes, a little bit longer than our introduction time. And the questions on the floor are, would anyone like to share something from their list where you have or where you believe you don't have power? Did anything surprise you while you were making your list? And how is this exercise relevant to our work as a coalition? And so the idea is you share what you feel good about sharing in your group. There's a bit of discussion, and then we will come back to the main room and do a little bit of a large format share out, probably honed in kind of on that last question there. Any questions on this? All right, let me make sure that these all get in the chat. Megan, before you send me to a room, I just want to make sure that all of these questions, get in the chat box there. And you might be able to broadcast to everyone as the host. So if you don't mind. Hopefully that made it to the chat for everyone. And yeah, join your room. If you want translation, please stay in the main room.
Hi, Lacey. Did you just hop on?
Yeah, so I was here and then my computer decided to restart randomly. So I'm just hopping in. But I'm just a reporter, so I'm just here for the language equity implementation. So you don't have to worry about me doing anything.
Oh, okay, cool. So have you been able to work through the, like, how it's working over here? Like,
yeah.
Can you follow it? Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I think everyone in here, like, they had their audio split, except for our lovely interpreter. But I'll be bringing everybody back pretty soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we come back from these breakout rooms, I always want to pop up in here and go, here's Johnny.
Express yourself, Derek. I support it. Okay, friendly reminder, you might need to turn back on your interpretation button. There, the little globe in the corner. Pick the language of your heart or the one you prefer to use today. All right, and we're going to let everyone jump back in here. Okay, I think the gang's all here. Who would like to share something from either their list of haves and don't haves, or perhaps something that surprised you, either in your exercise or in a conversation that you had in your small group? Let's start with blending those two questions. Who'd like to share something?
I'm happy to share.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so I will be sharing with you my list of, the power that I do have. And so while I was writing this list, I was leaning on to organizing principles and just things relating to that because that's my role. So it's easy for me to just, do that. So I listed power I have is, one of the principles in organizing is there's power in the relationship. So of course, friendships. The fact that I'm bilingual, I am able to, bounce back from different tables, spaces, communities. I can engage with more people. So I feel the fact that I'm bilingual gives me, additional power. The fact that I was born in this country gives me power. I do not fear, any type of retaliation or losing my status or being ripped away from my family because I was born here. My voice, I happen to be someone who's very vocal. So if I'm ever in a space where I witness any type of injustice, I'm not just going to sit there and allow it. I will use my voice. And also, you know, I was reflecting on the fact that even the fact that I work for the Colorado Trust gives me power, because the trust has a lot of resources, and I have worked in many organizations prior to who did not have resources. So, you know, I'm fully aware of that. And then some of the things that I don't have power to are, you know, systems. So I have absolutely no direct influence or say on things like lack of equity in our education system, lack of food access. And in order to impact those systems, we need each other. And so, yeah, those are the ones that came to mind.
Awesome. Sol, thank you so much for sharing your list and flagging a couple things, just a few things to notice. So hopefully everyone found something under your list where you have power. And we are 47 people currently on this phone call. And if we amassed all of our lists together where we have power, we would see that we have quite a bit as a group. And on the flip side, where we don't have power, perhaps someone who has the ability to share with someone who feels they have not. So really thinking about the dynamic of power as an individual compared to our power as a coalition is something that struck me from Sol's comments. Who else would like to share maybe something that surprised you as part of the exercise? And then we'll dig into the meatiest question of all. What surprised you, either from your list or something you heard in your conversation?
This is Frank. I think I listed, but I didn't discuss, and it didn't come up in our group. I was the one male in our breakout group. I think both this one and the first breakout group, and gender can play a role in power, especially historically, which is now shifting. And I think it takes, that's due to a number of factors. Sol was saying about taking power when needed, because it may not be granted. And women historically and presently have been working very hard on that, but also when men are aware or appreciative and self-aware also of their possible power, they can let go of some of that power, or share the power rather than try to dominate. And it's not just men, but it's the sort of I think of it as a masculine thing to kind of dominate or try to push power onto people, what one desires, versus to be open to the power of others and to help others realize their power. So I just wanted to emphasize that.
Thank you. All right, we're going to, I see some hands, but we're going to move on to the last question in the set there. How is this relevant to our work? And maybe Dylan and Brandy, you both had your hands up, but perhaps you were going to comment on that question. Anyone else who'd be interested in answering that question? How is our personal power list and this conversation relevant to our work? Dottie, then Dolores, then Dylan.
Yeah, so something that we kind of talked about, or that was discussed in our breakout, was that those of us who are working in food systems in our community do have a significant amount of power to create change. And sometimes, you can feel confined by, oh, I want something to happen like super fast, and realizing that like, even though maybe things aren't happening immediately, that your voice matters and that you do have power in the community to enact change. And with that power comes great responsibility to an understanding that complex needs of your community and the cultural differences that exist. And so that was something that we talked about.
Dolores.
Similar to what everybody else has touched on, we discussed some things in our group, such as differences in power and privilege dynamics, genders, ethnicities, all of those things. And as it relates to our work as a coalition, obviously that comes with a wealth of different lived experiences. So we discussed how that can help guide us when we're moving forward and decision-making within the coalition, that we're appreciative that we're within a group of like-minded individuals, but we respect that we still have those different lived experiences and the willingness to respect and hear each other out to help, again, guide those decisions.
Awesome. Dylan, your hand went down. Do you want to follow up on that?
Yeah. So our discussion kind of started talking about the power that we all have in common, which is to choose how we respond to certain events. And it's usually those events or circumstances that we don't have power over. But what was really interesting as it pertains to the coalition and as we expanded it was, and Monique, you touched on this, but it's the diversity of our power or sets of skills or expertise or areas of interest. That's what builds resiliency. We thought into the coalition and, the goals that we're moving towards, because if we were all good at the same thing or powerful in the same way, we might get one thing done or maybe nothing, but it's the diversity that really kind of bolsters it and strengthens it.
All right. Well, we could continue this conversation. We could have a whole meeting on this conversation, but just an opportunity for us to explore a topic that can be controversial, right? Oftentimes when we think of the word power, it can have a negative connotation. And really, when we think about power is the ability to make a change, it's neither good nor bad. It's about how you use it. And so we really want to be mindful in the way that we're doing that as a coalition to bring as much opportunity to our community as possible. So thank you, everyone, for being vulnerable and participating in that exercise. All right, we are going to move on. There was a question that I had here. In what ways could the Pueblo Food Project better share power? And I think that I would love for this to be a reflection question. And maybe we can come back to it at the end. I didn't quite budget enough time for our conversation, but bear this in mind. And of course, there's an opportunity to put thoughts in the chat throughout the meeting as well as in the feedback. But hopefully some of our updates will demonstrate for you how we are looking to better share power. And of course, we're open and all ears. And hopefully we can circle back to this at the next meeting. All right, let's go into our working group updates. Mo, can you kick us off for economy?
Yes, so we have, we've really planned out Q1 for our activities, and it's really exciting. I feel like we're really gonna make some big changes. I just put my email and my phone number in the chat. I want to invite anyone who is interested in food economy, businesses, restaurants, consumer packaged goods to come to our meetings. They're the second Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. If you have any questions, you can email or call me. So food economy working group, one of the first things we're doing is we're learning a little bit more about food hubs. We're having a big conversation about the influence of existing businesses and businesses that are thinking about coming to Pueblo. So that's one of our conversations. The big activity for this next month is we're going to be reaching out to restaurants. We're calling every restaurant in the county to just hear from them and learn what their issues during this pandemic has been. We have a lot of information to share with them about what they can do together if they unite and have one voice. And so we're going to try to make some changes to help out our restaurant partners. That conversation is going to happen in person. Our food economy working group meeting in February is going to be actually on February 21st. It's going to be at the Dewdrop Inn at Mesa and Santa Fe. And I want to invite anyone who has anything to do with restaurants to come. If you want to help with our outreach, just trying to get a hold of restaurants, let me know. I can assign some restaurants for you to call, or if you have a personal relationship with somebody who's running a restaurant, I can pass on the flyer that Megan made. So those are kind of the two big things that are happening right now. And then of course, I don't want to leave out, we launched our Entrepreneurship Program, which Jolene Collins is really facilitating. The feedback so far is that it's fabulous, it's extremely informative, it's helpful. The students have already had one class. I think they had another one last night. So maybe they've had 2 classes now. They went on a field trip to Denver on Saturday. They learned a ton of stuff with that. And so that's been going really well as far as I can tell.
Okay, our next update comes from Dr. Kelly. She's unable to be at the meeting today because she is now doing some teaching, and these times are tricky for her. So I am going to cross my fingers and play this recording, and hopefully it works out. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear Dr.
Hi,
Kelly.
everyone. It's Dr. Kelly Gelhoff with Perpetual Harvest, LLC. I'm a part of the Pueblo Food Project because I care a lot about localizing our food systems. In fact, I think it's the most important change that we can focus on in a single generation to make an outcome that might create a more sustainable planet and community. I believe in what we're doing, and I've volunteered again to take on the role of working group chair for food and farm literacy and education. This month in our working group, we discussed the way that our group could be a strategic support for recruitment of the coalition as a whole through some of our outreach that already has momentum, like the community meal prep program. We have a tamale workshop coming up this February, and we had a successful make your own lasagna take and bake at home that happened right before the holidays. And so that was a great collaboration between Rocky Mountain SARE and Cooking Matters. And we just had a wonderful turnout. And I think that's going to be an exciting way to continue to reach more families and more parents. We're looking to include stakeholders like teachers and administrators. So we have changed our meeting time to 4 to 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. The art show is also something that we're looking forward to coming up in March, and we're waiting to hear back from the Pueblo Art Guild, whether we can use their space at Mineral Palace Park again. We had excellent turnout last year, and we would love to recruit more artists and more creative media and more visitors to that event. We also discussed our farm to school movement that has momentum with the hydroponic towers that are successful at Ron Colley Middle School. We also have a curriculum that's been packaged by the Pueblo Food Project for 7th grade science, and it is state standardized and ready to share. The farm to school sub-grant was a Colorado level funding package, and it was successfully granted, and we will be having 4 new hydroponic grow towers, 2 at Irving Elementary and 2 at Dolores Huerta High School. And there will also be a small part-time job created for the upkeep and maintenance of these towers. We are also successful with our Fuji kits returning this year, and happy to say that they are continuing their Fruits of Love outreach for Valentine's Day with over 500 baskets going out next month. They had a DIY pizza party and got to know each other better, and now are planning an alternative cookie workshop. It's going to be really great to get the voice of the youth continuing to lead the way in the local food systemization. So I want to invite you to join our group and to continue to support food and farm literacy education wherever you can, discussing food miles or how the system is connected to our everyday lives as consumers, and how we could become producers of food in our own way through gardens or indoor grow systems. Enjoy your day.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kelly. How about Lindy for food access?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Voy a dar mi resumen en español. So, en nuestro grupo de acceso a comida, vimos los videos por fin completados y listos para compartir. En diciembre, el grupo...
Lindy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to click your interpretation in Spanish, the button on the bottom in Spanish, so that Ruth can get it to us in English. Is that right, Ruth? Okay, cool. Yeah, we can hear you now. Okay, got it. Good. Thanks, Lindy.
So I don't need to do anything?
No, keep going. You're good. You're good.
We're trying something new. Algo nuevo. Okay. Okay, so en diciembre el grupo compartimos ideas para dónde y cómo podemos mostrar estos videos sobre recursos de apoyo alimentario. Estoy orgullosa que tenemos estos videos listos y agradezco a todas que contribuyeron a este proyecto. So, fue como un año de colaboración y trabajo y espero que los comparten con toda la comunidad de Pueblo. En enero, en la reunión platicamos de un recurso llamado Anti-Hunger Community Toolkit del Colorado Blueprint to End Hunger. Y nos dimos cuenta de que Pueblo Food Project ya está involucrado en todas las sugerencias de programas en ese documento. Entonces, platicamos sobre cómo podemos informar a más personas en Pueblo sobre Pueblo Food Project y también escuchar sus opiniones. Hay miembros voluntarios de Pueblo Food Project que quisieran ayudar con una iniciativa para presentar y escuchar en reuniones comunitarias. Y pensamos que estaría muy útil crear una guía para embajadores de PFP y una lista de preguntas que podemos preguntar en cada reunión. So, en nuestro grupo de trabajo de febrero, vamos a ver qué recursos tenemos para crear estos materiales. Y creo que es todo para hoy. Gracias.
All right. Thank you, Lindy. And let's see, next on the list, Dr. Jim or Dr. B. Quick update on environment.
I'll go ahead and give it on behalf of myself, Mike Bartolo, and Dr. V for the environmental working group. We'll give an update. And again, like the other groups, we'd like to invite you to come to that meeting. It's on Thursdays at 3 p.m. On the second week. We discussed several things. One is a program that we're going to be initiating this coming year on the pesticide recycling jugs. So these are, for those of you who don't familiar, farmers use a lot of different chemicals, or some do, and they use those need to be recycled in an environmentally sound way. And so we're instigating one place where we can collect them out in the county, that they can be collected and then recycled for later use. Next is we talked about some of these Csu Extension Programs that are currently or have been going underway. And those are opportunities for all of us in the coalition to participate. One that was recently done was Water and Ag, which was done on January 18th, talking about some issues related to water. The next upcoming program is going to be the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association meeting. And I think there'll be an opportunity for some of the people in this coalition to participate in that. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, that's coming up at the end of February, and February 28th and March 1st. That's where we get a large coalition of farmers all around the state together, talking about the issues that affect them. And that's not just, farming in general. It's about, business development, interacting with our constituents, whether it be restaurant owners or the public in general, labor-related issues, water, of course, and other environmental issues. So that's a big coalition, and there's information at the CFBGA website, which is coloradoproduce.org, if you want to find more about the agenda and if there's something on there to interact. But we get a very broad coalition, so it's not just farmers, it's people that buy food, it's people that work in schools. It's a real broad coalition of people from all around the state getting together to talk about that. Here locally in Pueblo, we have another CSU Extension Program. It's called the Pueblo Ag Expo, conducted on March 10th at the Pueblo Fairgrounds. And you can go to that website at the CSU Extension website to find more about that. And then one of the other things that we've been involved in and interacting with is some of you've heard that the county and the whole area is undergoing what's called a comprehensive land use plan. And that has very significant repercussions for everything we do in ag or anything related to the environment. It gives us a broad detail of how this community plans to grow and what that repercussions are. So we talked about earlier about, our ability to influence things. I think all of you that use water, for example, and we all use water, have that ability to influence some of the things in your little sphere. And so understanding how you use water and how the community uses water, how you convey your concern about using water or land use to your elected official is very, very important, because that'll dictate ultimately how we use our land in the future. And a lot of that has serious repercussions for the agricultural industry in Pueblo County. So if we continue to grow, for example, if you noticed earlier in today's in the paper, there was an article about Pueblo West running out of water, and they don't have ability to grow anymore. Well, as they search for more water, the water is going to come from agriculture. So we need to be aware of those types of things. And the comprehensive land use plan all interacts with that. So there's ability that, again, that's going to be discussed at actually a meeting tonight by the Planning Commission, and then later on next month by the Pueblo County Commissioners. I think Pueblo City Council is also going to be discussing it at their upcoming meeting. It's ability for you to interact or at least understand what that means for this broad coalition and food systems in Pueblo County. And then finally, as we were going forward, we realized that, as we would try to look for a better direction for this environmental working group, one of the things we came to understanding is that we're all involved, and many of us that are involved in this working group are involved in many different entities already, working on different aspects of environmental, whether it be with extension or Dylan, for example, is in land conservation through the Palmer Land Conservancy. We all have different things that we are already involved with. And one of the probably most effective things you can do is to bring that information back to this coalition, whether sometimes not always going out and doing a specific project, but really interacting with our sphere of influence and then bringing that information back to the coalition. So that's basically it. Monique or anybody else would like to chime in on add anything, I'm happy to do that now.
All right, thank you, Dr. B. Okay, advocacy. The advocacy working group is the only working group that does not have a community co-chair. So if you are excited about advocacy and would be excited to co-chair this working group, please let me know. I would be very excited to bring you up to speed and support you along the way in that leadership journey. For now, at our meeting, a big topic of the conversation was healthy school meals for all. Healthy School Meals for All is a bill that has been entered into legislative session for the state of Colorado that would provide universal free breakfast and lunch for all K through 12 students across the state of Colorado. The bill has a price tag of about $150 million. And it is a statewide effort to sort of get this passed in the spring legislative session. The Pueblo Food Project has been tapped as a group to sit on the steering committee for this work. We recruited 3 parent advocates to participate from the parents' voice on the creation of this, I guess you could call it a policy for now, or program, and how it will roll out. Why Pueblo? Pueblo District 60 has community eligibility provision, which means most of the students in Pueblo County are already receiving free lunch due to our community-wide participation in programs like Medicaid, WIC, and SNAP. So Pueblo is being looked to as a case study on how this potentially benefits the community. And so the decision on the floor for the advocacy working group was, at which level do we want to participate? There was a steering committee level and then more of just a supporter role. And the advocacy working group was in favor of supporting at a steering committee level role. This will bring about $25,000 to the coalition in support of leadership building, advocacy building, and events focused on educating on this issue. Next, the Fuji kits, it was already mentioned, they're moving and grooving. I just want to flag for folks one thing here. They executed a survey and the survey results are linked in the agenda. The analysis was done by Kim Amaya, who is a senior at Rye High School. So shout out to the Fuji kits for doing that work. The survey will help inform their activities for the rest of the year. I'm going to hand it over to Megan now to give us a quick sneak peek at the Pueblo Food Project 2022 calendar and share with us the food access asset library that we hope everybody uses and shares. Go for it, Megan.
All right, so can everybody see this? I know it's a little bit small, just in general. This is our calendar for the year. So every day that is in color pretty much is a day where we have either an event, but we also have like working group meetings in this meeting highlighted. So as you can see, we have quite a few events through every single month already planned out. So we don't have much more space to continue with, or not to continue, but to put a lot more in. So keep that in mind, but we're really excited to start some of these like continuous programs. So like the Fuji kits will continue to have things. We'll start a meal prep thing in a few months. And then of course we have our entrepreneur program going until May, but a lot of really great things going. So but this is what our calendar looks like. If you would like a copy, you can shoot me an email and I'll send you a version of it for you to have. But yep, this is what we've got going. So it goes a little bit further because that's on the holidays. But yeah, I think you guys get the gist. And then let me unshare really quick and pull up the videos. Sorry. You can find our video library on YouTube. So we have 2 playlists, one in Spanish and one in English, PFP videos for food support. They're in order of what you would want to view them as. So if you click on there, you pop up here. If you want direct links, you can email me and I'll send those to you. We also have a full library on our Google drive that I can share, again, all in English and Spanish, but we also have social posts in English and Spanish for people to use, as well as a flyer if you want to share these to your contact list. So let me know if you want the links to these.
The digital asset library is linked in the agenda. We'll also be pushing it out in the Colorado Blueprint to End Hunger newsletter, which is a statewide reach, and we will put it in our newsletter, of course. The posts have help text for the caption. So if you're going to use it on Facebook or social media, the help text to get people to the right link is there. So please utilize that library. Megan put a lot of work in putting it together, and round of applause, shout out to the 30 plus community members who are featured in the videos, who drafted the script, who were on location and all that jazz, making this happen. It was a big effort, and it is Pueblo's voice that is represented in those videos. They both have how-tos, directions, as well as testimonials of members of the community who are utilizing the programs and finding benefit. So we really, really, really want folks to push out this content. And you will probably see it a lot on our social pages. So just know that that is coming, and it was a big work in progress. Okay, I am going to speak quickly and slowly at the same time because we are going to wrap at 10. So a couple of things on the list. I'm going to go a little bit out of order here. We have 2 spending requests at the bottom of the agenda, and I'm going to share my screen again to quickly show folks these spending requests. These spending requests are pretty non-controversial, and they were pre-approved by the executive committee in session yesterday. The first is to spend $228 on a 1-year subscription for an easy texting service. Essentially, this will allow us to text folks not in a big group message. So rather than seeing 100 numbers in line, it'll just be a text direct to you, and we can manage it on the back end. So that's a $228 spend coming out of the CHF funds. Nothing too controversial there, but everyone has an option to vote yes or no on that. The second is a conference participation scholarship fund. We know that many folks are dedicated to the Pueblo Food Project and would be great ambassadors for us out in the field. We also know that participating at events and conferences is a great leadership opportunity for coalition members. So we have established, and you will vote to approve, a $10,000 fund that will cover the cost of up to 4 members and potentially a staff member to travel to different conferences in Colorado and throughout the country. This $10,000 budget will cover transportation, the cost of conference fees, reimbursement for hotels and meals, with the expectation that participants in the conference come back to the coalition and lead a session about what was learned or what could be applied to the Pueblo Food Project. So yeah, we're excited to roll out this potential scholarship fund based on your vote today. So as you may recall, the Pueblo Food Project has a decision-making framework, and that decision-making framework says that either a working group or the coalition at large must vote on money being spent out of the Colorado Health Foundation implementation grant. Both of these expenses would come out of that grant. And since this isn't really aligned with one working group, it is being presented to the coalition as a whole. Excuse me. Another feature of that policy says the folks in the room are the folks who make the decision. So Megan, if you wouldn't mind dropping the vote into chat now, if folks could quickly just click on that link and make your vote, that would be awesome. All right, going in kind of a bit of a reverse order here. We will have this document translated into Spanish in the next week or so, but for now it is in English. And many of you have already heard me talk about this. We discussed it in every working group meeting. Last month in December, the Pueblo Food Project Coalition voted to institute reducing economic hardship policy. This policy allows for any participant in a Pueblo Food Project meeting or activity to request a $20 gift card for their participation to offset any economic hardship they may have experienced for volunteering that day. For example, if you're in this meeting today and you had to find a babysitter, we want to help with that. If you drive to a volunteer event and you're super low on gas, or maybe you're not low on gas, but you think, hey, I shouldn't have to pay for my own gas for this, we want to help with that. If you have to buy dinner one night because you're in a working group meeting that is running over, we want to help with that. So for any reason that you might experience a hardship by participation with PFP, we want to mitigate that as much as possible. We recognize that $20 does not cover the complete value of your time, but this is what is available for us to share right now. And it's for anyone who wants it. So at the end of the meeting, you'll have an opportunity to fill out a request form for that card. There's a different process for working group meetings, but for the purpose of this meeting, it'll be a link at the bottom of the agenda. Any questions on that? Okay. The reality is we have 6 minutes left and there are still a handful of things for me to cover on the agenda. So we are going to skip over Same Cafe. You'll see something in the newsletter. There's a survey coming out. Keep an eye out for it. We're going to skip over Colorado Food Summit Regional Convening. There's an invitation coming out. Mark your calendar, February 25th. There will be more details on that. It's a collaboration between many different organizing events throughout the state, and many of you heard me talk about it already. So I'm not going to get into the details there. Keep your eyes on an email for an update and an invitation there. I will very, very quickly share a couple of slides from the participant survey, and then I'm going to wrap with at least 3 minutes to do appreciations. Okay, thanks for the 45 folks who participated in the survey. We had a pretty decent spread across different zip codes represented. Most folks feel that the purpose of the Pueblo Food Project is clear. So that is exciting. And for the folks who are not so clear, we'll be reaching out to kind of help us make it more clear. Folks are most excited to participate in decision-making as it relates to food access and food economy. Although advocacy was quite high on the list, and that means maybe one of these 18 brave souls will be the working group co-chair. In terms of activities, folks are most excited to be hands-on and really pack bags of food and help out with a cooking class, which is great because we have opportunities like that coming up. I'm also excited to see that 10 people were interested in evaluating PFP. That is something that we will focus on this year as we work to deepen our relationships. Evaluation goes hand in hand, feedback, evaluation, and understanding perspectives is really important. So you will be hearing from us there. A couple of key themes in where we could do more: farm to school, continuing to develop the local food economy, and access to and education on healthy food. The purpose of that survey was really to get an individual's perspective. So we have your name, we have your contact info, and we will be using it to reach out to you to sort of craft unique experiences that come along for PFP this year. All right, with 3 minutes left, housekeeping. You have a feedback link in the agenda Click that, rate the meeting 1 to 5, provide your feedback, and then you have a gift card request form. They're separate. We don't want you to feel your feedback will influence the gift card and vice versa. So 2 different sheets for that. So please feel free to click both. And we have a couple minutes for appreciations. Who would like to go, if anybody?
Monique, I just want to thank you for everything you do and your patience when I have questions or need clarification or whatever. I just want to thank you for always being so prompt and attentive and all of that. I appreciate you and what you do. I've enjoyed building this relationship with you. So thank you.
Takes a village.
And I wanted to say as well, thank you to Brandy and Rocky Mountain SER and opening up the facility over there. I know as part of the East group, we've got a great place that we're working with, but the other organizations and groups and individuals that are coming into that facility, it's just crazy good. I don't know how better to say it. I am so impressed with everything that's going on there. So thank you so much, Brandy, and your whole group. It's just amazing.
All right. Anyone else would like to share an appreciation?
I'll just say I appreciate the coalition's effort. It's pretty amazing what little old Pueblo is doing on this in this arena. It's got regional, state, and national recognition, and you know, we all owe a great debt to Megan and to Monique, but it also reflects the entire coalition. So thank you all.
I definitely want to sneak in an appreciation for this group. This is a milestone today. You may not recognize it, but it is a milestone for us to have simultaneous translation and materials in English and Spanish for this group and our community. This is beginning our journey for equity in practice and bringing justice to all who might want to participate with the Pueblo Food Project. And so thank you for everyone who voted and gave ideas and supported and got us to where we are today, because this was born out of these coalition meetings, and here we are with an opportunity to share our work with more folks than we ever have before. So thank you to Ruth, and thank you to you all for having the courage to do this. I think we're making some pioneering moves for Pueblo. All right, with that, 10 a.m. Didn't think we could do it, but we did. Thank you all so much. Look out for some cool emails, and we will see you next month. Have a great rest of your day.